Well, so I'm going to record now. I hand it over to you, Doctor. Thank you.
Hi. So, hi everyone. I'm Steve Cassidy. You may know me. I'm not sure. You can probably tell that I'm all dressed up. I don't typically sit in my office like this, but I'm about to leave for the graduation ceremony this afternoon to congratulate some of your fellow students on finishing their degree. So I'm going to zip out after giving this introduction. But this is thanks for coming along. This is a great opportunity to introduce HCL for their program that they've been developing with us for a little while and running for the last year and a half or so, I think, which gives students an opportunity to work and study at the same time. Hopefully this is a useful introduction to this program, and I'll let Shalab and the others take over and introduce this to you. So Shalab, handing over to you.
Thank you, Steve. You look good in your costume. Thanks for the introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. I would have, generally it's good to do this in person, but thanks to pandemic, we're doing it virtually. My name is Shalab Narayan. I'm a Vice President with HCL Technologies, which is the global arm and HCL Australia. Now, I would like to start with a question as to how many of you know about HCL? Any show of hands? Yeah, I thought so. Okay, and the reason this is, generally when I see this, I ask this question, generally there is not many show of hands. But if you have, and this is how I address people, if you have driven in a BMW or a Merc or a Toyota or any car, if you've flown for your holidays or for your work in a Boeing or a Dreamliner, on Qantas or a Jetstar, if you're working with a bank like CBA, working means even if you're a customer of a bank like CBA, if you're using electricity at your home, for that matter, and if you're doing any other, using Sydney Waters in your home, using police services for your safety, then in some form and shape, HCL or an HCLite would have touched your life. And the reason I'm saying this is all of these are our clients. And while we do not believe in terms of advertisement, we believe in word of mouth communication. And that's why you wouldn't see many our posters plastered everywhere. But we have been working in the shadows for the upliftment of our customers, because at the end of the day, all of you are clients to your customers. Now, in short, we are $12 billion plus global organization, working or having offices in 54 different countries. And if you look at our employee base, which is close to about 220,000 plus, that's a huge whooping base. Out of that, about 3,500 of them are in Australia, New Zealand. So for us, ANZ is a geo. And that's why I said 3,500, close to between 3,500 to 4,000 in ANZ. So that's the kind of organization we are in. We are, as you could see, we are large, we are humongous, but yet we are not very vocal about our presence. Now, given you would have also realized in the past 2-3 years, technology has changed the way, not technology, basically pandemic had changed the way of life, right? And something that came to rescue to people's life was technology. All of us, you started, well, the uni was shut down for some period of time, but then all of you continued your education using work from home or study from home or study from anywhere, which was made possible by information technology. Right? Similarly, if you walk into any sector, be it utilities, electricity provider, electricity generator, flight services provider, automobile manufacturer, everywhere the technology has become over-pervasive and has changed the way that the business is being done. Initially, about 5 years ago, 5 to 10 years ago, you wouldn't find many technologists reporting in to a CEO. CEOs were generally people reporting to the CEO would generally be a finance head, sales head, marketing, and so on and so forth, but you wouldn't find a technologist sitting over there. But in the past 10 years, that has changed. In fact, very close to you, I do not know how much you follow, Meyer was one of the first companies in ANZ that appointed its CIO as its CEO. So you could see the shift. A technologist was asked to lead the company. What this demonstrates is the value of technology in imparting business or running, not only running the business, but transforming the business. Because today, every aspect of any organization is impacted in a positive way by a technology. And if the top leaders don't understand that aspect, they wouldn't be able to function properly, or the business wouldn't be able to support it. I mean, the least example is about social media. Marketing about a decade ago was all about advertisement through offline media. But now you have social media marketers, a special job that is created, whose only job, they are adept with Instagrams, Facebooks, the way it's all electronic communication. What I was only trying to say here is that the use of technology has become over-pervasive. This means it has created many career options, right? Because we are a technology services company, we understand this pretty well, and we want to provide or extend an arm to the growing, the younger generation in their early stages to come on board and experience the world from this lens. Now, you would be studying technology in your bachelor's, undergrads, so on and so forth, but then these are all theoretical. How does this link to the actual business world? That is where our program like TechBee has come in. And the reason why TechBee we started, be like honeybee and tech like technology. So these are technology bees because you're still in your first or second year. And when we look across the spectrum, there are many programs that are offered to the final year students when you are in your final year. And often by the time you would have made certain decisions regarding your career, which is kind of, set in kind of stone, we thought it is good to give students an opportunity in their early years to help them understand what is the use of technology. You could, for example, you could be studying applications related thing. You could be studying website development or a Python as a language. But then when you actually venture into business, you might find that networks is pretty exciting. Cybersecurity is pretty exciting. And therefore, in an early age, you have an opportunity to, bifurcate yourself or choose a path that is closer to your heart rather than just what is taught in the classroom without that glimpse. And that is where this program of TechBee comes in, which is aimed at the first and second year students. It is a work as well as learning go hand in hand. So you continue to study at your pace in the university, and you also get imparted practical training with obviously practical on-the-job training, as well as working with our clients along under the supervision of an HCL, where you could see how the both worlds marry in terms of the theoretical world versus the actual practical world. So I think that's in short about what HCL is. We have someone over here who is from your I would say group. His name is Paul. You could see him smiling on the phone. I will ask Paul to give an introduction about himself, and then probably we can take it up from there. So Paul, over to you.
Thank you. So my name's Paul Charteris. I'm currently a third-year student at Macquarie University, and I'm doing a Bachelor of IT, majoring in Information Systems and Business Analysis. And that covers things from programming, accounting, SQL, etc. And from there, I ended up signing up into HCL.
Thank you, Paul. Thanks for the quick introduction about yourself. Now, and boys and girls, Paul is one of our TechBee early adopters of TechBee program from Macquarie Uni. Can I ask you, Paul, what has been your experience of the TechBee program? So that you're among the peers, you could kind of shed some light to your peers in that.
Yep. So my experience with TechBee has honestly been quite amazing. It's allowed me to learn a fair amount of new technologies from C#, more expansive knowledge on SQL, as well as the how they both relate to each other through ADO.net. And through that, there was extensive amount of exercises to be done in order to, practice that knowledge. And that's actually gave me quite a bit of confidence into the workforce compared to before. And not only that, but we get paid as well throughout this program, which is quite a boon in order for us to become a lot more independent and self-reliant with this program and through uni and so forth. It's been great.
Thanks, Paul. Now, another question that comes to my mind is, and obviously most of the students here would also, why in the first place you joined the TechBee program? You're on mute, Paul.
Sorry, my apologies. I joined the TechBee program because its goals and what it provides suited my goal in my career, and that my goal was to train myself as part of a team to become more and more reliable to the point where I could become confident and self-reliant. And the program provided all of that. It provided me the tools, it provided the teaching and learning, and that's just compared to before. That allowed me just to become a lot more proactive, actually, in even helping my fellow interns, even just trying when they end up sometimes going through challenges, as well as communicating well with the interns as well as my managers and lecturers. Pretty much, it helps you become self-reliant and confident, and you get early experience when it comes into the workforce while you're studying, which is a great boon. And as I said before, you also have economic independence as well, since it's a paid internship. Yeah.
Thanks, Paul. I wish I had something of a program like this when I was younger, that could give me economic independence at that point of time. Obviously would have given an uplift to my pocket money to do lots of other things at this point in career when we need the money the most, and obviously learn on the side. Now, boys and girls, there's something which I would want to tell you on the first responses as to, I talked about you are learning things theoretically in your class, right? Now, so for example, if I ask anybody, do you know what is an SRS? SRS means Systems Requirement Specifications. Do you know, have you heard about this before? Sahalia, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. I've heard you shaking your head. So what does an SRS according to you mean?
As far as I know, an SRS is pretty much everything that requires the system to actually run correctly.
Good response. So, and therefore, taking your last word, that requires a systems to be run correctly, which means you will have to capture this in detail in advance, right? Now, how do you capture an SRS? Which means there is a document or something preceding an SRS. What could that be? Salia, any idea? And this is where programs like TechBee are very important to your theoretical learning, because for a system to work perfect the way it is designed to, the functionalities have to be mapped properly. So which means it has to be preceded by something known as FRS, which is a functional requirement specification. Now a program like TechBee helps you understand this. So while you understand the concepts in your studies, but how do these concepts get translated in the real world, that is what this imparts. So for example, when I say FRS, so what is a functional requirement specification? What is captured over there? And when I talk about functionality, are you aware of there are two kinds of functionality? Anybody in the group? So when I say two kinds of functionality, there are functional requirements and there are non-functional requirements. And to just give you a fine difference between what is a functional and a non-functional requirement is, suppose you're designing a system for controlling lifts, and all of you and all of us use elevators in our daily life. The functional requirement could be stated by the saying that the lift has to stop or the elevator has to stop at every for XYZ second, there should be so much of safety precautions, so on and so forth. But in this whole dimension, there are certain requirements which are not stated in its functionality. So for example, the lift, the floor of the lift, when it stops at a particular floor, should not be more than 2 centimeters or 3 centimeters from the base floor. Things like such are captured in non-functional requirement. When you're designing a website, right? A website response, you would be taking things like responsiveness, security, so on and so forth. But a look and feel or number of clicks to reach a particular point becomes a non-functional requirement. All of these are they are told to you, but you you as a student at that point of time might not understand or grasp its utility or clarity. And this is where a program like TechBee helps you understand, because then when you are working on live programs, you see what's an SRS in its real life, what's the functional requirements, what's functional and non-functional specifications, so on and so forth. This is what I believe in Paul says, that he's kind of the value that he's deriving from these programs is in this form and shape, right? My another question to you, Paul, and I'm asking, and guys and girls, you will have an opportunity to ask this question, but I thought, generally at your age, all of us are a bit shy. Nobody wants to break the ice very quickly. So I'm trying to being your hammer and breaking the ice. So, and after that, I'll open the floor for you to ask questions. But my another question, probably the last question to you, Paul, is why do you think students or school leavers or students in the first or second year should join a program like TechBee? What's your opinion? And Paul, you're on mute.
Well, I think joining this program, either if you're a second year or straight from high school, I think the greatest benefit is just that you get knowledge and teaching that's orientated towards the workforce. But not only that, you also get mentoring as well. So the staff here actually, they interview you, take accounts in your strengths, weaknesses, what to work on, what to improve upon, and they provide recommendations in regards to where would you like to orientate yourself career-wise. Do you want to be a network engineer? Do you want to be a programmer, et cetera, et cetera? And they even allow some flexibility in regards to switching paths up when you reach certain points. And I think that's an incredible opportunity for especially high school people fresh from high school, because that can, at that point, they'll still be kind of wondering what they actually want to do. And I think it's just amazing that the HCL staff can actually help out candidates to figure out the answer. But they also have that flexibility to choose their own path as well, if they're rather confident as well. So they're just that flexibility and just the early job-oriented knowledge, like the stuff that we are taught with a upcoming job in mind. It's just incredibly beneficial. It's like the bridge between going through a bachelor and going through and actually working in the workforce. HCL just bridges both of that.
Shalab, if it's okay, I might just jump in and make a few observations. For those of you who don't know, I'm Kylie Abed. I'm the Director of Employability and Graduate Success. So my team works with lots of students across the uni, and our advice is get your experience early and start to gather these experiences to know what job you actually want at the end. There is absolutely no more important area to do this than in IT. I think that when you start and enroll in an IT degree, you probably think you know what it is. And I imagine along the way, you find out it's, a bigger world than you expected, and also that your day-to-day job might be quite different. There'll be particular nuances. So for most students, we'd say get volunteering experience, get a whole range of things. There are very few opportunities to do and get this real experience in a workplace and be paid during your studies. So an absolutely fabulous program and opportunity here with HCL. And as both Paul and Shalab have said, and a chance for you to explore lots of different avenues. I am going to ask you, Paul, has it made any of your assignments easier to do? That reinforced learning, has it, given you the confidence in the workplace, but also in your studies?
Oh yeah, I mean, I've actually noticed some parallel. Actually, at the moment, we're up to the stage where we are learning, actually managing projects, and we've covered things like the SCLC. Sorry, I've forgotten the acronym name, but it's pretty much the waterfall model of actually trying to make a product. And we're also covering agile modeling as well. And at the same time, we're actually learning this as well in, I believe it's software engineering. So there's this just beautiful parallel that when you're kind of learning it from both perspectives, you can actually gather some of this knowledge from HCL. And then when you kind of get through a class lesson in regards to it, you kind of realize, oh yeah, I am actually a bit familiar with this. And suddenly just with the assignments, you just go, oh man, it's just a lot more easier because you have a lot more familiarity.
Yeah, it's that reinforcing. We've got some questions or comments in the chat. Would it be okay if I pose those to both of you, Shalab and Paul? We've got a comment here that a person who's uncertain about the area of speciality. So very exciting to explore this and learn outside their major, which I think we've agreed. But Zali has asked us about the structure of the program, and do they get to do internships in a particular area, or will they work around across a different range of disciplines?
Okay, before I answer that question, Kylie, guys and girls, I think the first thing that this program teaches you or instills in you is a little bit of confidence and a little bit of courage, Now, I still see, except for two people, which is Zahalia and Gabriel, everybody's off camera. I'm sure Zahalia and Gabriel have been courageous enough to, put their face up on a camera to speak. Now, and if you see Paul on the other hand, is said, throwing myself back in your age when I was in the college, it was the same for us as well, right? We are shy. We are a bit worried of asking a stupid question. And that's why I said a program like this at the first step instills confidence in you. It puts in courage in you to face the world and face the people. Because at the end of the day, if you are stepping out of your uni at some point of time, thank you, Justin, and facing the world, the first thing that you've got to do is show your face and show your voice, because you've got to be heard. It is, and I believe it's an SMS generation. People are more comfortable in typing questions, but it is always better to ask in person, because then you're heard more. And starting advice, no matter where you go, start building up that courage in yourself, because as far as I know, there are no stupid questions in the world, and everybody is entitled to ask. And I think we're looking forward to you. Now, to that question that I believe, is it Tinu, right? What sort of areas would be expected to be thrown in for experience? So look, this is, Tinu, this is a program that is a jack of all and master of none, which means we understand you're still young. You need to be showcased through different windows. You need to understand what are different things, how is security, whether it's cybersecurity, infrastructure, applications, web, so on and so forth. So this is about providing a perspective to each of these and through live program. So yes, the answer is you would be, and that is why, TV, when you said you are in a situation where you answer, most of us are. I mean, life is like that. Especially today, in the vast world of technology, even after 4 or 5 years, people find themselves in a job which is not taking the best of them. I am an example for myself. I started on applications. I did something. I dabbled a little bit of infrastructure, but one fine day, and that is after 2 to 3 years, I happened to get into SAP, which is business consulting aspect of it, and it's still a stream of technology. But I realized that my inclination or my desire for learning more was on the SAP front rather than on other things. Now, this I realized after spending 3 or 4 years of my career in an IT firm, right? Which, had I been in such a program, I could have probably got an early insight as to which side I need to go in. And therefore, you're right, and you said all of us, and I've done many sessions with a few of your colleagues in career, people are confused. They say, because at this age, we are governed more by 2-3 things. We are governed by what is the job market. We are governed by what is the salary you will be getting when you're in the job market. And thirdly, maybe whether there will be enough job opportunities. But what you forget is, if you are in a first and second year, and if you use these 3 gauges, by the time you move to 4 and 5 years, the dial would have shifted. The career or the job which was most employable might have shifted to somewhere else. The salary structure would have shifted to somewhere else, and so would have been something else, right? So therefore, this is a field which is evolving at a rapid pace. You all hear things, acronyms like AI, artificial intelligence, so on, and machine learning. But by the time you graduate, that AI and machine learning could be, behind you, and something else would be there. So the point is, what I'm trying to make is, it is about understanding everything. And also, we as human beings, the Lord has made us in such a way that we are not good at everything. Some of you might be very good at bugging or debugging or designing a program. Some friend of yours would be very good in terms of understanding what is the customer requirement, creating a functional design document. Someone could be very good in documentation. Someone could be very good in networks. Some of you can become good hackers, but you would need to get that opportunity to understand what you are good at. And as I said, this is an ocean, and you can drown in this ocean understanding what you are or what you are not. So this is why and I'm not saying that this will give you a glimpse of everything, but yes, it will give you a glimpse of a lot of things, which is prevalent at this point of time, right? So I think this thing would have answered all the 3 questions that are there from Zahalia, Tino, in terms of the structure of the program, what are you taught, what you're not taught, so on and so forth.
Justin, are you brave enough to ask your question yourself?
That'll be great. Yes, guys, Steve.
Yeah, sure. Sorry, I'm just in a public library right now, but I'll speak up if I have to. So yeah, I just had a question where if we need any skills or knowledge prior to applying for this program.
Yeah, the only skill or knowledge you need is, at least in this TechBee program, is you should be in year 1 or year 2. And basically, in this, because it's a B, it's a TechBee, which is, you should be the starting of your thing. And then it's all about and a desire to learn. At this age, it's all about a desire to learn. We do not expect you to know a lot because you're just starting. a positive attitude, a desire to learn, and what you see around your world. That will sail you past.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you for asking that, Justin. I do have a follow-up question to that because I'm conscious of time, but I want to be really clear with everyone. If they want to find out more information, it's heading to the website that we've provided the link to, and you can register. But Shalab, can you just tell us a little bit about the application process and what students should do next, or is that one Guru can answer? Just so the students are very clear on the next steps, if they're interested in this amazing opportunity, what should they do now?
Guru, over to you. You're on mute.
No worries. Thank you for that, Kylie and Shalab. So the next steps that you would like to do is head over to the Macquarie University website, which has the TechBee form there. You'll just need to fill out your details, and once we get the form, we'll send you out information on the upcoming steps to proceed with the TechBee program that you'll get to know. So yeah, that's the first process.
And how long before someone would be starting the program? If they're interested now, what's the timing for students to keep in mind?
Yeah, sure. So usually we accumulate a group consisting of about 10 to 15 candidates. So we can start as a group, and they will travel with the help of each other, and they'll bounce off the information that they gain from each other throughout their journey at TechBee. So a timeline that we're looking at to start is about a month or a month and a half once we get the number of candidates in the program.
That's great news. I've just popped in the chat for everybody the web link there to the website. That will give you the overview, then take you through to the HCL page to register. By quick count here, if everyone were to apply and being the right thing, you've almost got your next cohort set up here, ready to go. So yeah, does anyone have any final questions or things that they'd like to answer or to ask and have answered? As Shalab said, no wrong or silly questions at this point. So Tino, did you want to ask that question? Or you're not in a position maybe to chat? Okay, I can ask on your behalf then. In the application process, what sort of information might they need to provide, Guru?
In sort of the application, so all we usually need is just your resume and just your contact details. And once we get those, then we'll have an information session just to explain about the program a little bit more in detail. So you've gained all the information that you need from Shalab about the experience of HCL and Paul's experience, as well as a TechBee. But once we get your details, then we'll also introduce you about the outline of the program. And then after that, we will assign you, or we'll align you to demands that we get from our clients, and then we'll proceed from your internship from there.
Okay, so that sounds fantastic. If any of you do not have your CV started or up to date, head to Employability Connect. It'll take you through to My MQ Career Zone, and there's a CV builder and a cover letter builder in there. There's a whole range of workshops and things. So even this is an amazing opportunity, you need to present well in your application. Okay, you can also access the information from Tyree and colleagues through a consult session once you've been through and had a first go at preparing your CV. So we're here to help you through that because, you know, the value of this program we've spoken about today, and we want as many of you as possible to have that opportunity. Anything else from our students today? Yeah, Gabrielle. We can't hear you. I don't think
Microphone is not working properly.
Sorry, try that again. Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yeah.
we can.
Yes. Okay. I'm just filling out the form here. What does it mean by stream?
So stream, it just means the line of work that you'll be doing. So for example, there's C++, there's a programming, there's networking, there's different kind of fields that you could be placed in. So that's what the stream means in that context.
Okay. How do we fill it out? is what I'm wondering, since it's a required field.
So stream as in, so in the form, are you asking about?
Yeah, in the form.
Yeah, on the form. So that means what you're majoring in at university.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay, well, I'm going to say thank you very much to everyone for joining today, but give the last word now to Shalab.
I wanted to say something before we close this off. And this is to all the ladies who are there. So look, the technology world has always been, like any other industry, was dominated by male, right? And the diversity drive is pretty intense in the technology sector as well. What I've seen is, and I met a couple of youngsters who have done, worked at IT or studied IT, but either working at a cafe or in some other places. Now, that's not a good use of what you've studied. You've spent technical education there. I would suggest is, and that is where this kind of a program becomes very helpful, because it catches you at a very early age, right? If you step into this program at this age, you would first get a little bit of confidence about what this is all about, because generally people become jittery about handling technology. But in this program, it's all about hand holding. It's a mentorship program where you're held across the program. So we raise your self-esteem, we help you understand what the waters are, we help you, pick and choose the areas of your strength. So while obviously the boys will definitely come up, but I would also request all the ladies over here or the girls over here to take this opportunity to step in the world of technology. It is much remunerative from erstwhile easier jobs that you feel, because if you look at any technology stream, the way the rate as with the salary rises is much better here. The way your role, the way you rise up the ranks is much faster over here, and even your it helps you shift career shifting as well. So if you worked as a business analyst, as a technology consultant, or somewhere in a technology industry, tomorrow if you want to move into a fashion industry, to a pharmaceutical, to something else, it's much easier for you, rather than you go up the other side and try to move on the other side. So do spread the word to your girlfriends, female colleagues. This is the right time to step into technology, because the diversity factor is pretty high, and every technology company is looking to diverse base its workforce. All right, and to everybody else, all gender and being gender neutral, join this program, spread the word. There are not many, I think, as far as I know, this is the only program in ANZ that offers to the first or second year of students and helps you understand or see the world in a different. Plus, you get paid for it. So all your hobbies that you wanted to, this is a good program to get to, also work on your hobbies by the money that you earn over here. That's all I'll say. Over to you, Kali.
Thank you so much. As I said, head to Employability Connect and get those CV resources. We will send you this recording as well, and it'll be available for you to go back over any details. And once you've registered, then HCL will be directly in touch with you. But thank you so much for joining our program today. And hopefully this is a very significant career moment for you all, and the start of some great opportunities and great things to come. And congratulations on going so well in the program to date, Paul.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. It went spectacularly.
Thank you. Thanks for joining, everyone. You can log off now. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for your time. Have a nice day. Bye-bye. Bye,
Thank you.
Kylie.